Alright, let's talk about something that's got a lot of people stressed. My kid's entire future is on the line stressed. We're talking about Chinese students. And their parents. And the good old US of A. For decades, America has been SPOT. You know, the Harvard, the Stanford, the MIT. It's the educational equivalent of getting front row tickets to Beyoncé. Chinese families have poured their hopes, dreams, and a whole lot of yuan into getting their kids a US degree. It's seen as the golden ticket, the ultimate status symbol, a pathway to global opportunities. This isn't just about a fancy diploma, it's about prestige, better job prospects, and sometimes a different way of life. The numbers don't lie. Chinese students have consistently been the largest group of international students in the US. Think about it. For years, the pipeline was flowing. Talented, ambitious students from China, ready to hit the books, contribute to research, and maybe even invent the next big thing. This wasn't a small trickle, it was a tidal wave of talent. American universities loved it. Diversity? Check. Full tuition fees? Double check. It was a win-win, or so it seemed. The US got brainpower and a significant economic boost, while Chinese students got world-class education and a shot at global careers. This established the US as the undisputed champion in the global education arena, a beacon for aspiring minds from across the Pacific. The allure of American innovation, academic freedom, and cultural dynamism created an almost magnetic pull, but hold up, because the music, it kinda stopped. Or at least, the DJ started scratching the record. Suddenly, that smooth pathway started looking more like an obstacle course. We're talking about new US visa restrictions. And these aren't just minor tweaks to the paperwork. These are changes that are making Chinese students, and especially their parents, sweat. The dream of an American education, once a clear vision, is now getting a little blurry. What used to be a straightforward application process, albeit competitive, has now become fraught with uncertainty and anxiety. This shift is causing ripples, big ones, across oceans and economies. The significance of the US as this top-tier education destination cannot be overstated, especially for families in China. It's a multi-generational aspiration in many cases. Parents save for years. Kids study relentlessly for the TOEFL, the SATs, the GREs, all those terrifying acronyms. The competition within China to get into good local universities is already insane. So, for many, studying abroad, particularly in the US, represented a less crowded, albeit expensive, path to elite education. It was seen as an investment that would pay dividends for a lifetime, not just for the student, but for the entire family. Now that deeply ingrained belief system is being shaken to its core. So, what exactly are these new rules causing all this heartburn? It's not like the US just put up a no students allowed sign, it's more complicated, more targeted. Think of it like a bouncer at a very exclusive club. But the entry rules keep changing, and they're kind of vague. Primarily, the restrictions have focused on students in STEM fields, science, technology, engineering, and math. Especially those with ties to institutions the US government suspects might be linked to the Chinese military or involved in intellectual property theft. It's like, we love your brains, but only certain brains, from certain places, studying certain things. This has led to increased scrutiny, longer processing times, and in some cases, outright visa denials. The official line? National security. The US government has voiced concerns that some Chinese students, particularly graduate students and researchers in sensitive fields, could be exploited or coerced by Chinese authorities to transfer technology and sensitive information. It's part of a broader geopolitical chess game, folks. Think trade wars, tech competition, and a general vibe of mutual suspicion. So these visa policies are one of the tools being used in that larger strategic competition. The argument is that these measures are necessary to protect American innovation and security interests. It's a delicate balance, trying to safeguard national assets without completely shutting the door on global talent. The specifics can get a bit murky. One key measure was Presidential Proclamation 10043, issued in 2020. This proclamation suspended entry for certain graduate students and researchers from China, deemed to have ties to China's military-civil fusion strategy. The problem is, defining those ties can be subjective and broad. Is it attending a university that receives some military funding? Is it a past internship? Students often find themselves in a confusing limbo, unsure if they fall under these categories. This ambiguity is a huge source of stress, making it difficult for students to plan their academic futures with any certainty. The lack of clear, consistent guidelines adds another layer of frustration to an already complex process. This isn't just about new students applying either. Even students already enrolled in U.S. universities have faced challenges when renewing their visas or when traveling back and forth. Imagine being halfway through your PhD, your life's work, and suddenly, you're not sure if you can get back into the country to finish it. The fear of being stranded, of having years of hard work derailed, is very real. These policies have, therefore, created a climate of uncertainty that extends beyond just prospective students, affecting the current student body and the academic institutions that host them. The ripple effects are felt in labs, classrooms, and university budgets across the country. Now let's talk about the people footing the bill and losing the most sleep over this, the parents. For Chinese parents, their child's education is often their single biggest investment. It's not just about money, it's about hope, sacrifice, and filial piety in reverse. The child succeeding is the ultimate reward for the parents. So when these visa hurdles pop up, it's not just an administrative headache, it's an emotional gut punch. Imagine spending years saving, planning, coaching your kid through endless exams, only to have a geopolitical situation throw a giant wrench in the works. The anxiety is through the roof. They're worried about wasted tuition deposits, derailed career paths, and the immense pressure their children are under. The practical concerns are massive. What if the visa gets rejected after an offer from a top U.S. university has been accepted? That's a huge what if. Parents are scrambling for backup plans, looking at consultants, and spending countless nights on forums trying to decipher the latest visa news. There's also the fear of their children facing discrimination or suspicion, even if they do make it to the U.S. The narrative around these restrictions can paint a broad, negative brushstroke. Parents are not just battling bureaucracy, they are battling a rising tide of uncertainty, and a sense that the dream they cherished for their children is becoming increasingly elusive and fraught with unforeseen difficulties. Let me tell you about Mrs. Wang from Shanghai. Her son David got into a prestigious engineering program at a California university. They were ecstatic. They'd paid the deposit, booked flights. Then his visa interview was delayed, then subjected to administrative processing, a black hole of waiting. Weeks turned into months. David missed his start date. Mrs. Wang told reporters, "It feels like our dreams are being held hostage. He worked so hard. We invested everything. Why him?" This isn't an isolated story. Thousands of families are in similar situations, caught in this limbo, their meticulously laid plans thrown into disarray. The emotional toll on these families is immense, as they navigate a path that was once clear, but is now shrouded in doubt. Another story that sticks out is that of Mr. Chen, whose daughter, Meilin, was pursuing a PhD in biotechnology. She was already in the US but needed to renew her visa. She decided to visit home for the Lunar New Year, thinking the renewal would be straightforward. Big mistake. Her renewal was denied, citing her field of study and her undergraduate university in China. She was stuck, unable to return to her research, her lab, her life. Mr. Chen said, "She calls me crying, asking what she did wrong. We just want her to get her education. Is that too much to ask?" These personal accounts highlight the human cost of these policies, transforming abstract regulations into tangible hardships for individuals and their families. So, with the US looking like a riskier bet, where are these bright Chinese students and their parents' tuition money going? Well, it's a big world out there, and other countries are rolling out the welcome mat, honey. The United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, and even some European countries like Germany and the Netherlands are seeing a surge in applications from Chinese students. These countries are actively recruiting, offering scholarships, and often have more straightforward visa processes or at least less geopolitical baggage attached. It's like when your favorite Netflix show gets canceled, you don't stop watching TV, you just find a new show on Hulu or HBO Max. Students still want a world-class international education. This shift isn't just a problem for the students who can't get into the US, it's a looming issue for American universities. International students, especially from China, are a huge source of revenue. They often pay full tuition, which subsidizes education for domestic students and funds research. We're talking billions of dollars annually. Fewer Chinese students mean a tighter budget for universities, potential cuts to programs, and less funding for groundbreaking research. It's not just about the money either, it's about the brain drain. The US has always attracted the best and brightest from around the world. If those minds go elsewhere, America's edge in innovation could start to dull. The broader economic impacts extend beyond campus. Think about the local economies around universities. Landlords, restaurants, bookstores, all benefit from student spending. A decline in international students means less economic activity in these college towns. Furthermore, many of these students stay on after graduation, contributing to the U.S. workforce, starting companies, and paying taxes. Losing this talent pool to other countries means losing out on future innovators, entrepreneurs, and skilled workers. The long-term consequences for American competitiveness on the global stage are significant, potentially reshaping industries and slowing down the pace of technological advancement within the U.S. Ultimately, it's a tightrope walk. National security is undeniably important. No one wants their country's secrets or cutting-edge tech stolen. But is a broad-stroke approach that chills academic exchange and drives away talent the most effective way to achieve that security? Or does it inadvertently harm the U.S. own scientific progress and global standing? The challenge lies in finding a nuanced policy that can identify genuine threats without alienating an entire generation of scholars and researchers who could contribute immensely. So the big question remains, how can the U.S. protect its interests while still benefiting from the immense power of global collaboration and the bright minds that seek its shores?